J.J. Frazier for Georgia. For them to have an opportunity tonight, J.J. Frazier's got to break out. Now, he's capable for 30. He can electrify as soon as he crosses half court. He's in range. He can get to the rim. Last 6 games, averaging almost 20 points per game. And you talk about being on a tear. Tyler Ulis playing some of the best basketball in all of college basketball. A career-high 11 assists. Coach Fox told us he's concerned when he uses that on-ball screen, how not only can he score, but also facilitate for his teammates. As we take a look, similar in stature, similar in weight, and the points per game equaled right now. The difference, obviously, is an assist per game, 6.4 for Tyler Ulis. Both of them, though, facilitate for their team.
Tyler Ulis has gone 8 straight games allowing, or accounting for, I should say, at least 30 points. You take a look at the Georgia starting lineups. J.J. Frazier, that's his no-pressure emoji there with Gaines and Mans. Kenny Paul Gino and Yante Mayton up front for the Bulldogs. And for the Kentucky Wildcats, without Alex Poythress, it looks like this: Ulis, Murray, and Briscoe in the backcourt, Derek Willis and Marcus Lee up front.
You know, Tyler Ulis had a swimmer?
Why is it?
I mean,
he's been diving in the deep water all year.
Diving in deep water. He has been outstanding, though. He has been fun to watch, and tonight he's going to get challenged. I mean, you've got experienced guards. We didn't talk about Frazier, but we didn't talk about the 2 seniors and Mann and Gaines and just how important they are.
Last year, Georgia had Kentucky on the ropes at Stegman Coliseum and let them get off the ropes in the final 4.5 minutes. And, of course, everybody has trouble at Rupp Arena, where their Wildcats have a 33-game winning streak. Here's Briscoe up under 2 deep. And the board will come off to Yante Mayton.
Yante Mayton at times has been taken out of games due to foul trouble. We'll go back to that game that we had at LSU for Georgia. Pretty much the entire interior of Georgia was taken out due to foul trouble. But
there he is offensively underneath. Nice feed.
I don't think there's anyone inside that can really contain Yante Mayton. And one of the most improved players in the SEC. He can get a double-double. He can get about 20 and 12. And if he gets those numbers, really strong.
Trying to block the shot of Murray, and Murray's a guy that can get you 35, which he did in the win over Florida. Career high game. He ties things at 2.
He was on fire and right from the start.
Georgia has had trouble with Kentucky when they're ranked. You saw the 2-40 mark. Here's Mayton again, so off to a good start. Yante Mayton. Here's Ulis against Frazier, the 2 guys we talked about. Briscoe not a threat as an outside jumper. Ulis in the paint over Frazier, 2 little guys.
It's probably the first time all year they've guarded somebody that's similar in stature.
Here's Mayton trying to make it 3 straight. Gaines tried to tip it in. Ball comes free to Murray.
You can see what Georgia's trying to do defensively. They're going to sag off of Briscoe. They're going to dare him to shoot the outside shot, and they want to clog up the middle.
And the foul's going to be on Charles Mann. Mark Fox with a veteran backcourt. Frazier, the junior, and then the 2 seniors in Mann and Gaines. Mark in his 7th year in Athens, as is John Calipari in his 7th year here in Lexington.
Built Georgia into a consistent program now where they are expecting to win games in conference play.
Willis on the outside for 3.
They expect to win games at Georgia, and fans around here are starting to expect Derek Willis to do that more often than not. He has been outstanding since they've moved him into the starting lineup.
His 30th 3-pointer, and then Mann turns around after the foul and picks up the turnover as well.
Briscoe does a nice job turning and driving middle. The defense pinches in. That forces the long run out. So a very high percentage 3-point shot for Derek Willis, who was the first player on the floor tonight for Kentucky.
He is their top percentage 3-point shooter at 40%. And the last one gives his team a 3-point lead here early. Briscoe, nice move inside on the baseline against Mann.
Felt where Charles Mann was and just spun right off of him.
Gaines backs away. Fadeaway 3 won't go, and Willis will clear the glass for Kentucky. looking for a screen, draws a double team. Nice job by Georgia defensively, but it comes free to Willis, who had a 3-rim out. Charles Mann good at penetrating, gets to the free throw line more than anybody else on this Georgia team, or in the SEC for that matter, as Gaines knocks down the outside jumper.
The three guards are going to have to play well for Georgia tonight. It's very similar as far as teams and how much they rely on their backcourt more so than their front court.
Willis going to try another one. That's 2 out of 3.
And Briscoe's done a nice job facilitating both of those opportunities.
Well, they can't leave him alone with a hot start out there. He'll bury him from outside the arc. Now Anderson picks up, Edwards I should say, picks up the dribble. 4 on the shot clock. Mann's going to have to put one in the air if he gets it away. Did he draw a foul? Nope. No whistle. Mayton underneath. Puts it back in.
Look at how strong Yante Mayton is, though, getting that position on the floor inside the defense, able to corral that and give himself opportunity.
Lob to lead from Ulis.
That time, though, poor defensive transition by Mayton. Didn't see where Lee was.
Georgia, a team that's stingy in giving up points in the paint, and that was too easy. Frazier guarded by Murray in this instance. And a whistle and offensive foul on Gaines.
Mark Fox told us they've got to take Kentucky out of transition. Everybody ran to the ball. Well, that left Lee wide open. Kentucky out in front.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Hotels.com, the obvious choice for hotels. And in part by the all-new Audi Q7. And London Has Fallen, in theaters everywhere March 4th.
We check in third member of our team, Shannon Spake. Shannon.
Well, hey, Brad, you know, the term alpha dog is something we've heard many times this season, especially in respect with this Kentucky team. But both of these teams have alpha dogs, and both of those alpha dogs happen to be the smallest guys on the teams. You guys have already mentioned them, J.J. Frazier, Tyler Ulis. I spoke to Frazier today about that matchup. He said it's absolutely something he's been looking forward to. He has utmost respect for Tyler Ulis, loves the way he leads his team. But Frazier did tell me that the first couple minutes of this first half would be so important for him not only to set the tone with Ulis, but also the intensity for his entire team.
You know, the first 4 minutes hasn't gone that well for him so far, but it's not just him. Georgia defensively has got to find a way to get somebody on Derek Willis on the outside.
Well, just get stops in general. 6 of 8 to start the game for the Kentucky Wildcats.
2 for 3 for Willis from outside the arc, and he's still in there along with Ulis and Matthews, Labissiere, and Murray. Willis thought about another one right there. Mayton got on him just in time. Murray will take the 3, and he buries it. He's had a 3 in every game this year, including, as Sean and I already talked about, 8 of them against Florida. He's got his first one of the night.
Well, Jamal Murray and the rhythm and the zone that he is in, again, late closeout in that situation, good ball reversal. His feet were set, step in, knock down, 3-point shot.
Great range, as you saw there, well outside the 3-point line. J.J. Frazier on a foul on Ulis goes to the line, where he's 8th in the conference from the stripe. 81% free throw shooter, so that's J.J.'s first points.
Well, and we mentioned how important he is to the offense. 3 out of the last 5 games, he has broken the 20-point mark. And when Georgia is playing well, J.J. Frazier is engaged.
So he's got his first 2 from the stripe. You saw Ettore and Wilridge check in, and Kenny Paulino go out.
Zone defense now. They went from the man-to-man. They switched up to the zone. Part of that's just because the way they weren't defending. They're going to extend out in their zone. So it's not your typical zone where they're going to give up three-point looks.
Got Kenny Gaines on the top of that zone. And whistle and a foul. I think it's going to be on Frazier. That's his first. So Mann, Gaines, and Frazier, the starting backcourt for Georgia, each with a foul here in the opening 6.5 minutes.
And Mark Fox told us before the game tonight that they were going to try to play man-to-man, but if they got into a rhythm and you started feeling like Kentucky was in that zone, that they wouldn't be afraid to implement their zone and try to force Kentucky to shoot contested shots with players in front of them if they're not moving or if they were picking up fouls. Fouls have not been the issue. Getting stops has been.
Willis goes on. Marcus Lee comes back in. Charles Matthews, the freshman out of Chicago, at the free throw line, averaging 2 points a game, which is what he had in the win over Florida. And it's what he has already here early. Back to a 9-point lead. Gaines going to take a deep three. Got it. It's another guy that if he gets hot from outside the arc, can really catch fire and put points together in a hurry.
Broke the 1,000-point plateau earlier on this season in the win against Clemson.
He's got 1175 now, so he and Mann both in that 1,000-point plus club for Georgia.
Bad spacing on this possession for Kentucky. Matthews and Labissiere just ran into each other.
Labissiere is going to take the jumper. Rebound kept alive by Matthews. Ulis has to kick it back out to Murray. Under 10 on the shot clock. Murray. A run by Gaines, and then he buries a three.
If you gamble and you miss, they make you pay.
Yeah.
I mean, you just gave up a wide open three-point shot to one of the best shooters in the conference.
Maton had it stripped by Matthews. Got it back. And Frazier from way outside. Well off the mark on the three.
Well, Kentucky's continuing the rhythm that we saw them play with against Florida offensively.
How about Matthews off the bench with 4 quick points, including that jumper that makes it a double-digit advantage.
And again, that's a secondary break. Tyler Ulis getting the ball deep into the paint. That just creates the defense. They have to pay attention. They have to honor that, and it opens up a wide-open look to the outside.
Nice pick and roll. Maton inside had it blocked by either Lee or Labissiere, and then the second time up drew the foul. So Kentucky, a great start here in the opening 8 minutes plus, and a 24-13 lead. So Jamal Murray, who came off a big game in the win over Florida, and he had 35 points, career high, and he picks up where he left off.
Well, Brett, I like the fact that he got himself going by getting to the basket, and then the perimeter shot, the flyby by Gaines on that last one opened up so much room, so much space for him to knock down that three-point shot. And what we've seen from Kentucky early is not only the outstanding field goal percentage, but they're sharing the basketball well. They're making that, last year the talk was one more. Can you throw it one more time and turn down a shot to get a better shot for your teammate? They're doing the one more stuff right now, and that's why you're seeing these clean looks.
Right now they're 9 out of 12 from the floor, and they're 4 out of 5 from three-point range. That is not a good recipe if you're trying to pull off an upset here, as Georgia obviously is attempting to do. Nobody else has been able to do that in a couple of years here. But a great start for Kentucky right now. I think if Georgia doesn't find a way to either get some stops or calm this thing down, we might be talking about a real problem by halftime. Now, last Super Tuesday, let's say we had a 21-point game. Tennessee was down 21. And all of a sudden, they came storming back in a thriller in Knoxville. But
well, being down 11 is significant. Teams that have trailed So Coach Calipari's coach teams
by 10
or more is 179-3. We saw one of those three last Tuesday night. This is a different animal, though, when you get Kentucky in this building. And you talk about 33 consecutive wins. But the differential defensively, their ability to execute, the opponent turnover possession, everything is dramatically different here at home. And every single number that you see on the left-hand side indicates a team that is very comfortable and very confident inside this building.
And, of course, then you've got Coach Calipari, who in this building is 115-4 in 7 years.
That's good.
Well, that's almost as good as the 179-3 when they got a 10-point lead. So really a tough place to play with 23,000 plus clad in Kentucky blue. And off to a great start here tonight.
Right now, they've done a nice job. They haven't had a turnover yet in the game. They're finding their teammates. And these guys, their faces, they smile, guys. It's a good start. You're up 11. I tell you what, this crowd and this fan base, they get here early. They get riled up and they get ready to go.
Making at the line for 2.
Maton, the second of 2. Got them both.
Checking in for Georgia is number 34, Derek Obede.
Obede checks in. Maton goes out. Maton with 8. Lead cut back to 9 here with 11:35 remaining in the half. First Kentucky turnover. All right, Mike, thanks, and we welcome those of you watching Michigan State and Purdue, and we welcome you to the SEC on ESPN. It's the Georgia Bulldogs on the road against the number 22 team in the country, the Wildcats of Kentucky, who have jumped up to a red-hot start from the floor and outside the arc. And have led by as many as 11 on a couple of occasions here in the first half, and we have 11 to go in the half. Brad Nessler, Sean Farnham, Shannon Spake with you. A sellout crowd at Rupp Arena as always.
Good defense on this possession by Kentucky, staying attached to the perimeter players.
Danny Game put it way up in the air. Kessler on the putback. Georgia got another chance. Kentucky got another foul. And so Georgia's going to go back to the free throw line. Georgia played Kentucky very tough a year ago in Athens, and we saw that game and a big comeback by Kentucky in the last 4.5 minutes. Here, Kentucky wants to put the hammer down right now, you can tell.
They were red hot against Florida from the outside, in particular Jamal Murray, and he's once again off to an outstanding start in this game. 2 for 2 from beyond the arc. He's got 8 early points coming off that game where he had 35 against Florida.
Different looking lineup in there right now for Georgia. And an offensive foul. That happens sometimes when you got a different looking lineup. Wilridge picks up the personal. There's the top 6 in the SEC. LSU, the number 1 team. And as you can see, 1 game separates the next 3, and just 2 games separates number 1 to number 6. And as we said earlier, number 1 to number 9, there's only a 3-game separation. And with 4 games tonight, 3 games tomorrow night, if everything played out, you would have like the hugest knot ever in the SEC standings with 7 games to play before Nashville. But that's a lot of hoops left. And right now, Kentucky holding home court as they always do.
The 33 straight inside this building, and Isaiah Briscoe hasn't necessarily scored the basketball early in this game, but he has been a facilitator by driving the defense, especially when they've gone to this zone, attacking and forcing 2 guys to step to him. Drew the foul that time.
He had a nice move on the baseline earlier for the 2 points he has so far, as we're almost to the midway point of the first half. Willis, who started hot early from outside the arc, almost took another 3. Left-hander by Labissiere, and then a foul on the rebound is going to be on Briscoe. Kentucky couldn't have been much hotter, though, to start the game, Sean.
No, and what you're going to notice is the percentage of these shots they're wide open. I mean, a late closeout, you hesitate with your hand down. That time, dribble penetration, Briscoe collapsed the defense. You lunge, you reach, you take yourself out of position defensively. Good looks all around for Kentucky. Monte Mayton got off to a good start for Georgia. He's now on the bench.
But Bede is playing down low for the Dogs right now. Not a huge offensive threat. Frazier. Bede, just when I said that, got an offensive rebound, but he did miss in close. Ulis against Frazier, working the baseline. Extra pass by Briscoe is one too many.
They're just trying to do a little bit too much.
So the second Kentucky turnover. Saturday, big rematch between Kansas and Oklahoma, 2:30 Eastern on ESPN. You remember January 4th, I'm sure, if you watched it, the 3 overtime thriller, 109-106. The game also streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. Buddy Hield had 46 in that game. He had 20-something more last night, including a three-pointer with 1.3 seconds, I should say, remaining to win that game last night.
You think about that contest too. In this 3 overtimes rather, 30 turnovers in 55 minutes of play combined between the two teams. So they played efficient basketball. They didn't turn it over. I can't wait to watch.
It was really a pretty game to watch, and hopefully it'll be more of the same on that one. 2:30 on Saturday. Humphreys is seeing more extended playing time with Poythress out with that bad knee in there right now, and he gets the lob from Murray. Missed the lay-in though, and Mayton pulls down the rebound. See if Georgia tries to go back inside with Mayton back in the lineup. That's not the shot they're looking for. Bede, a wild one-handed shot. There's Willis. Missed the 3. Battle for the rebound. Loose ball. Frazier and Ulis went after it. Mann's the one that came up with it. And he drives to the hoop and will go to the line.
And he does what he does best.
Yeah.
He draws fouls. He has attempted more free throws than anybody in Georgia basketball history. And he's now made more free throws as well.
Get a load of this. He has 559 makes out of 813 attempts. That's a lot of foul shots. And if you say who's number one ever in the SEC, guy that made almost 900 and shot several hundred more than that, Pete Meredith. There's the numbers. 5th and 6th in SEC history.
And Georgia fans would hope that the percentages, though, would be better.
Yes, that's a problem. He gets to the line a lot, but he doesn't. 68% is not quite what you want if you're going to get to the line that often.
And especially when you're on the road. When you're on the road and sometimes you get through these scoring droughts and things aren't flowing offensively, getting to the free throw line is usually a great way to manufacture points. And for Georgia, in particular, Charles, man, they can sometimes struggle there.
They only manufactured 1 out of that trip. Does cut the lead back to 8. Mann gets a breather. So Edwards back out there, along with Turtle Jackson, Frazier, Mayton, and Gaines. Hawkins in the lineup for Kentucky with Briscoe, Murray, Willis, and Humphreys. Those are the 10 on the floor. That looked like a walk, and it was. Humphreys shuffled his feet.
Well, last week it was a tale of 2 games. The Tennessee game we called, and then the Florida game. Consistency. It's been a key word in these parts.
Barnum Files coming up next.
When you talk about consistency this year for Kentucky, you got to start with this guy, Tyler Ulis, and the backcourt mate, Jamal Murray, number 23. The focal point all season long, though, in consistency has been the front court. These guys. Are they going to be consistent enough to get Kentucky where they want to go? Coach John Calipari was talking about it today at Shoot-Around, saying 15 out of the 40 games, you're going to have to self-motivate yourself. Find a way to create some enthusiasm to have that warrior mentality. And if they're able to get it, and there's still time, the end result and the end goal for this team, yeah, they want one of those.
Yeah, they're ways away. Last year they thought they'd get one of those when they started out 38-0.
Look, and they're not close right now to it because of the lack of consistency that we've seen.
Right.
But look around the landscape of college basketball. I mean, there's not a lot of consistency. I mean, we thought Texas A&M, okay, well, look, they're rolling. Everything's going well for them. They took 2 losses last week. And that's going across the nation right now. So if you can find a way to put yourself in a rhythm, if you can get guys to just meet their averages underneath and get Humphreys to step up right now because they need him because of his size.
Or that guy.
Labissiere.
So far, Marcus Lee has 1 slam dunk tonight. Otherwise, all the points have come from the backcourt of Kentucky so far. That's been the problem. And that's what you were talking about in the Farnham Files. If that ever comes around and the big guys start to contribute, including this freshman who's at least given it an effort tonight and trying to become part of the offense.
Hey guys, you see that Alex Poythress is not out here. Talked to the team before the game. You know, he sat out Saturday's game against Florida. He has a right knee injury. That is his non-surgically repaired knee. So that's not the knee that he was struggling with last season. But the team does not know when he'll be back. But he hasn't. He wasn't out here for shoot around. Was not at practice yesterday or today. So just an update on him.
So that's 2 games in a row that Alex has missed, averaging 10 points and 6.5 rebounds a game. One of the seniors that they were expecting some leadership from, and it's about the only place they can get it because that's the only senior they have. I think it's the only senior John Calipari's ever had, because usually they're in the NBA before things are to the senior season.
Jamal Murray left the floor, getting looked at by the trainer on his left knee because Kenny Gaines was sliding right into it.
Labissiere had it stripped by Frazier, and it's still going to be Kentucky ball.
We'll go back and see the contact. Loose ball situation. Kenny Gaines sells out.
Ooh, yeah.
Did not like the way that Jamal Murray's leg was extended right there, but the trainer walked away. So it's just coming back.
2 guys hustling through a loose ball. That takes away one of the scoring threats for Kentucky right now. 10 on the shot clock. Ulis may have to take this himself. Rimmed out at 3. And the 2 number 1s battle for the rebound. They come down with it together. The whistle's blowing. And they're going to call a foul on which number 1? On Maton, I guess.
They called that one on Yonte Maton. I thought Maton had the inside position.
Or is it the other way? No, it was not on Maton. Let's get our number 1 straight, guys.
All right. And Mark Fox saw the same thing I saw, and that was Yonte Maton had the inside position there, but he deemed it that he reached and pulled him.
Now wait a minute. Pat Adams just went over to Mark Fox and said, no, it's on the other number 1. The other guys called it on Labissiere down here. That's why I said, let's get our number 1 straight, guys. Okay, we'll give it back to me.
A little failure to communicate.
Yeah. There's a mismatch. Willis with Frazier on him, trying to switch back. 10 on the shot clock. Briscoe on the drive, and he's fouled.
That one goes against Gaines.
And Gaines picks up his 2nd.
Fouls have been an issue for Georgia, in particular on the road this season.
I think you're seeing Mark Fox's explanation to Jerry Pollard, one of the other officials, about what he thought of the last call. And he's not a good free throw shooter. He's a scrappy player and he does a lot of good things, but he is shooting 41% from the line.
Well, Mark Fox told me earlier today that this is where the game could be won or lost for this Georgia team, on the free throw line. He said, we cannot foul. We're just not going to be able to do it. In that last timeout, he told his guys they have to buckle down on number 23. Of course, Jamal Murray still on the bench, getting that left knee worked on. And as far as the field goal percentage, he says that's the difference in the game.
And I think right now, John Calipari's liking Labissiere's hustle on both ends of the floor tonight. He's a good shot blocker. 6'11" freshman. He blocks about 10% of opponents' shots when he's on the floor. And he's in the top 10 in the conference in block shots. Charles Mann, again, a master at getting to the free throw line, not necessarily a master at hitting them all.
When you look at this roster for Georgia, too, Mann and Gaines have been the staples of this program. And endangered species, seniors that have experience, seniors that have won, seniors that also, by the way, have gone to the NCAA tournament.
233rd game they played together. That's a lot of hoops, my friend. Charles Mann does hit both.
Can you imagine how much better we're going to be when we broadcast 233 games together?
I will have had a stroke or two by then, probably. Here's Ulis, and they'll give to Briscoe, but the follow is by Labissiere. That's his first bucket.
I like the energy of Labissiere.
I do too.
You pointed it out, but putting himself in the right position. Again, all facilitated, though, by Tyler Ulis' ability to break down the defense from the perimeter.
Even though Kentucky has shot much better than Georgia, it's just an 8-point difference right now. And J.J. Frazier's going to go to the free throw line.
You go to that previous basket, watch Tyler Ulis. Got two guys chasing him. Briscoe flies in. People are looking at him. And meanwhile, nobody is marking Scal Labissiere, who was there to clean it up.
That's the most emotion we've seen him play with. Not that he hasn't had good games in other times, but the times that we've done their games, it's off to a good start here tonight.
And J.J. Frazier gets back to the free throw line. He has not seen a shot go through the basket, though, from the field.
Nope.
And we highlighted him off the top and how he needed to be aggressive. He needed to assert himself. He has not necessarily gotten there yet. You have to credit Kentucky's defense and the ability to pressure out top.
And right now, Tyler Ulis has been all over Frazier, but the lead down to 7.
Go! 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 No foul. Play without fouling. Good job, Jamal. Play, Jamal! Ho! Diamond!
Scott Calipari wired tonight here at Rupp Arena. Some of his comments in the first 15 minutes of the game as Frazier knocks down the second free throw. Neither team doing well from the field right now.
And Georgia 0 for its last 8. Kentucky just 1 for its last 8. That one was a good one, though.
5-minute mark remaining in the half. Here's Murray on the drive against Gino. Lofted up, wave it off. And Charles Mann hit the deck hard.
And that one goes against Murray. And partner, I don't think Mann was even close to being set there. I thought he was still sliding over. It's the most difficult call. It's and that's one of the things. And the fans here, they kind of probably agree more to what I saw. But we get the benefits of slowing it down. But I thought that one should have gone against Mann.
I'll say one thing about Charles Mann. His head's as hard as the floor is. Because whether he took a charge or not, he definitely hit the hardwood in a rough way on the way down.
I like the idea, though, to kind of try to reestablish Mayton underneath.
Nice drive by Murray. 10 for Murray.
I think that means okay. The last 2 times come off the bench immediately. Doesn't settle for a perimeter shot. Looks to attack.
That's good to see. His game's expanding from earlier in the season for sure. Underneath, we're going to have a foul on Briscoe.
In transition, you've got to pick up the ball, and you've got to pick it up early. If you're waiting and you're on your heels like that, there is no chance, none, that you're stopping Jamal Murray.
Foul on Briscoe. Going to send Charles Mann back to the free throw line. Eight-point game with just over 4 remaining in the half. And Charles has now hit 4 in a row. This is going to be a good NBA Wednesday presented by State Farm tomorrow night. 8 o'clock, Lakers take on the Cavs. And it's Kobe's last matchup with LeBron in Cleveland. Then at 10:30, Rockets and the Blazers. Coverage starts at NBA Countdown Charged by Dew at 7. Both games streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app.
Well, LeBron James last night had a triple-double. But for the first time since the 2001 season, when Penny Hardaway had a triple-double, he didn't lead in any of those categories.
That's crazy, isn't it? And Kobe, I think, had 19 last night and had a little minute or so where he hit 3 threes in a row. So the old man can still play. Ulis got the roll. Man trying to get down the other way. Frazier's going to take a long bomb and missed it. And that's the best look he's had. Ulis made a run at him. And right now, I think Ulis is in J.J. Frazier's head a little bit. Especially with a drive like that.
What would concern me right now if I'm Mark Fox is that all year long your defense has kept teams at bay. Kentucky's attacking them in the paint right now.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Northwestern Mutual. We help you live life differently.
Brad, their coach, Roy Williams, had to be taken off the floor with dizziness.
Oh, wow, Carl, keep us posted on that. I know you'll bring us up to date at halftime, which is 3:45 away. Kentucky leads by 8 right now as Tyler Ulis is going to the free throw line for a 1-and-1. Georgia has gone 10 minutes without a field goal, and they're still only down 8. They'll be thanking their lucky stars right now that they're only down 8 with a drought like that.
Well, the free throw line has been good for Georgia. 11 of 12. And so, again, we mentioned this when you struggle to score, and Georgia at times does. You have to be able to find a way to manufacture points.
Yeah, Shannon was talking about that earlier, and that's good that they're in the ball game because of that. Otherwise, J.J. Frazier hadn't scored from the floor yet, still hasn't. Obede had a hand on it, and he was fouled.
So Humphreys has 2.
Yep.
Briscoe has 2. Marcus Lee has 2. We saw some foul trouble issues creep in for Kentucky, whether it be at Kansas or at that game against Tennessee.
Derek Obede is not a good free throw shooter either. I'm sorry I have to say that. Shannon?
But he's a very good traveler. Check this out. He has lived in Nigeria, London, Sweden, and Canada. And of course the U.S. He's been here for 5 years. Why? Well, his mom's work actually brought him to all of these different places. He speaks 7 different languages. So I'm sure he could say free throw in all of those languages.
Say, I got the second one in Nigeria, and that's where he was born. So there's another place he lived.
Well, and I asked, I said, you know, they were telling me the media relations director for Georgia said when they asked him when he checked onto campus, where do you want to say you're from?
He had no clue.
He had no answer.
Murray's got an answer for just about anything Georgia does right now.
5 for 5 from the field. 13 points now for Jamal Murray.
3 threes after having 8 last time out. And here's Willis on a steal. And oh, man! Derek Willis, usually known for his 3-point shooting. He says, wait a minute. I can score in transition as well. And Kentucky's up 13. Mayton not going to get the roll. What you talking about, Willis?
Well, what you're talking about is some great defense. Watch Willis right there in your screen as it comes into frame. A little bit lazy by Mayton. Didn't come and meet the pass, and Willis, he's got that.
That's what we're talking about, Willis.
You know what? And we talked about emotion, and Coach Calipari talking about winning basketball plays. How many winning basketball plays has Derek Willis brought to the table since he's been put into this lineup? Rebounding the basketball, he's led the team in 6 out of the last 7 games, and defensively, perfect denial hand and a great ability to finish.
If you'd have told me Derek Willis might make the top 10 plays on SportsCenter tonight with the 2 Johns when we're done, I'd have said not on a shot like that. Mayton, offensive board, had it rejected underneath. Abede gives it another try. Still another. And now Willis the rebound. Ulis behind the back against Frazier. Pull up. 15-footer. Oh boy. Kentucky's rolling.
That was just silly right there. And he just smooth.
Remember that swimming emoji?
Yeah.
That was kind of a swim move around J.J. Frazier for that 15-foot jump shot. And now Georgia turns it over. And the wheels are starting to wobble on the dog wagon right now. Kentucky's in trouble. I mean, Georgia's in trouble if Kentucky keeps playing like this. 2 minutes remaining in the half. Willis just gave up a 3, and the whole crowd gasped.
They have played so well here for the first half.
Willis, the 3. Humphries had a hand on it. Frazier swipes it underneath. Charles Mann in traffic. No foul called. Kentucky the other way. Murray, pull-up 3 from Ulis. Now Matthews underneath. Everybody's getting in the act. Mark Fox is not going to use a timeout. He's going to let him go and play.
The game has gotten too fast for the Georgia Bulldogs.
Georgia in desperate need of a field goal to try to stem the tide here a little bit. That's not the guy to take the shot. Humphries with a block on Abede. Ulis around Frazier, up and in. Kentucky putting on a clinic right now with less than a minute to go.
And there was not a timeout called, but the officials, even the officials, were anticipating a timeout being called by Mark Fox. And he was saying no. They got to reset this thing and get them down to the other end.
With a chance to go big blue, and I don't blame them. This last 4 minutes has been nothing but blue, even in their white jerseys. Trying to get an entry pass to Maton, stolen by Murray. Georgia turns it over again.
Is there anything Murray hasn't done right in the first half?
Kentucky can take the last shot. There's only about a 1 second difference on the shot clock and the game clock. No, he has done it all. Played defense, scored from the outside, scored in transition. And now with 10 seconds to play, Kentucky could be up 20 at the break. Almost. They almost were. What a run by Kentucky.
J.J. Frazier doesn't make a shot. Georgia doesn't make a shot in almost 14 minutes of basketball action here. Meanwhile, Kentucky goes on a spurt. Jamal Murray, outstanding. Tyler Ulis picking and choosing his points to attack.
Let's check in with Shannon.
Coach, you talked about when you have a chance to put a team away to do it. What do they need to do in the second to extend this?
Well, again, a tough rebound. I had to take Scow out. You can't be in. I mean, those are the plays that put teams away. I like what we're doing offensively, space in the court. Charles Matthews, outstanding. Isaiah struggled. And it's great to see Charles get his opportunity. I thought Isaac was fine. Marcus Lee, 2 hands in the back push for what? I mean, look, the great thing is we're getting better and we're learning about each other, but we got a ways to go.
Thanks so much.
Probably a little better in that half than you're explaining there, Coach. We're getting better. Yeah, I'd say the last 5 minutes was pretty darn good. 42-24 halftime score. Kentucky. Time for the Jeep halftime report. Carl, Seth, and Jay standing by. You're watching Super Tuesday, presented by Hotels.com. I'd say boom was pretty apropos as we had the SEC on ESPN return to Rupp Arena, Lexington, Kentucky, and it was boom at the end of that first half. Kentucky went on a 14-2 run. Georgia hasn't scored a field goal in the last 13 minutes and 37 seconds. As we take a look at our fast analysis brought to you by AT&T.
Deep intellectual things are my jam. You know what my jam was in the first half? The offense for Kentucky. Spacing the floor, dropping in threes. They did an outstanding job sharing the ball and finding good quality looks as a collective group. They were able to do it at the defensive end of the floor and then carry it over to their offensive play. And I think that's what really stood out to me was the effort at both sides.
Action underway in the second half. Georgia will have the first look at it as they get it down low to Gaines. He's triple teamed. Battling for his own miss, and it's off Marcus Lee. Georgia will have another chance. So we check in with Shannon.
Well, Brad, Mark Fox told me, we've just done a terrible job. He said our offense didn't show up, and because of that, our defense was never able to get set. We're constantly playing in transition. I did ask him why he didn't call a timeout towards the end of that first half, and he said, listen, I thought that our veterans would have been able to play their way out, make some good decisions. He said it was a gamble that didn't pay off.
Glad you asked him that, because that would have been the first thing I would have asked him as well, because it looked like the officials had even a couple of times were going to try to say, okay, we're going to stop play here. Coach is going, I didn't call a timeout.
It's getting to a point right now, it's almost Happy Gilmore-ish. Like, just go home. The ball needs to go home at this end of the floor for Georgia. They need to see it go through the net just one time.
You need to get the right person to touch the ball, like that guy or that guy. And still, he can't get one from the outside. And that guy is J.J. Frazier, who still hasn't scored a field goal.
I think for Kentucky, when they went on the run late, it was because they created tempo. They were running, they were pushing it up the floor, not going against just the half-court defense. They were at their best in transition.
Ulis in the tall timbers. Mayton pulls down the rebound and then almost threw it away. In fact, he did throw it away. So Mayton's got 8 points and 8 rebounds, but Georgia has 9 turnovers as well.
Those 9 turnovers have led already to 7 points off of turnovers. Georgia has 0. Fast break points, 6-0. Points in the paint, plus 14. Everything is trending in Kentucky's way. And Coach Fox said it right when he said to Shannon, they just played terrible.
They didn't play well, in fact, against Auburn, even though they blew Auburn away over the weekend in Athens. Had a 25-point lead and then pulled a lot of their starters with about 7.5 minutes to go, and the score ended up being a little bit closer than probably the game dictated, but didn't play well there, and they're not playing any better here on the road.
And what was the quote that Coach Fox said after that game when he was on the SEC Network? Said if they played with the same way they played against Auburn, that they'd lose by 200. They're not going to lose by 200, but it's almost closing in on 20 minutes without seeing the ball go through the hoop.
And it goes through, continues to go through for Jamal Murray. Murray with 16, including 4 threes. Another Georgia turnover. That's the only thing they're in double digits for right now. Murray, heat check. Not this time. But Marcus Lee will give him a fresh shot clock. Briscoe, great spin move on the dribble.
The amazing thing is that has to start to become a natural thing for Isaiah Briscoe. Instead of Coach Calipari telling him, go, drive, attack, size advantage, strength advantage over J.J. Frazier. And the beautiful spin move, enough to draw the contact and earn the trips to the free throw line. But again, he literally looked over at Coach Cal, and Coach Cal said, go. And then he finally went. Once that starts to become a natural thought process of where you're not thinking about what's going on the sideline or what you see the floor and you just react to it. Basketball is always at its best when your instincts kick in.
It's even better if you don't score the field goal that you hit the free throws. And in tonight's case, he has hit 3 of 4, and that's way, way above the norm for him. Lead swells to 23. Gaines on the baseline. Georgia can't buy a 3 right now. Gaines got one in the first half, and that's all they've had.
A three, a layup, a jumper.
Anything. They're 0 for their last 21 from the floor.
California's drought hasn't lasted this long.
You would know. And a third foul on J.J. Frazier. And that's not going to help their cause at all. 16:58 remaining. All Kentucky rolling right now for the Cats.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by the Lincoln Motor Company and the new 2016 Lincoln MKX and TD Ameritrade.
Well, right now, Georgia could use a little Stephon Moody. They have gone 0 for their last 21 from the floor. They trail by 23. With 16:45 to go in the game. Jamal Murray got another one from the baseline, another three. That's his fifth.
And just a complete breakdown from the scouting report. They talk time and time again. 3 and 23. Can't give him space. Not only did they give him space, they had no idea where he was. And there's 3.
Steal by Ulis. He goes in and lays it up. Man just backed away. And the lead goes to 28. Ulis in double figures with 11. And another night of running the show perfectly for Kentucky. Kenny Gaines will try a triple. And whistle and a foul on the inside. My boss told me the same thing. I still haven't been on camera, but let's get her some money.
She gets money?
A raise, I would assume.
I want to find out. We should send Shannon up there. I mean, I know she's really high up there.
Yeah, she's way up there.
Yeah, but I would like to find out exactly what she does for a job, and then let her know that we actually got her on television so she can get her raise.
I don't know who her boss is, but there's the sign, and that's how far away she is from us.
Good job by her camera.
Absolutely.
Sean, I am not wearing the shoes that I would need to run stairs right now.
Come on, that's a cop-out.
She runs stairs at every place.
Yeah, well, don't wear those shoes then, Shannon.
Okay.
Triathlon.
I don't wear heels in triathlons.
That's true.
Georgia trying to get some kind of offense going here. The 10 on the shot clock. Man on the drive will score. And that's his first field goal. And the first field goal for Georgia in how long, JD? About 18 minutes? Something like that. Close. I'll take a guess. Murray finally missed one, and Maton with a rebound.
But still an open look, and it was the exact same play they ran on the previous possession.
And another steal by Tyler Ulis. Just picked Charles Mann's pocket. And he's going to try to score around Frazier at the same time.
Look at, oh, hey!
Guess what?
Look at, I got a raise. I'm getting a raise. Did they really say that?
I'm in the money.
There we go.
I'm in the money.
Someone's cashing in tonight.
There we go. Another great night coming off a career-high 35 against Florida. He's driven inside, and they let him get loose outside. There again, the drive against Gino and off the window with the left hand. But this is what he does best. Get outside the arc and just keep knocking him down.
5 of 8 from 3. A little defense. I think that's been a big area of focus at practice, especially trying to get him to improve the consistency in which he competes at the defensive end of the floor.
Got 13 threes in the last game and a half. Incredible. And his range is incredible as well. Kentucky trying to just get in their offense here and doing a good job of moving the ball around. Briscoe is going to go to the free throw line. Let's check in with Shannon.
You guys talking about Jamal Murray's shot yesterday at practice. He was just standing there. He was talking about all these trick shots and showing me some different things that he could do. Stood at the half court, turned his back to the basket, one-handed, just shot the ball, and it went in. First time, all net.
Well, some people can do that and some can't. And Jamal tried it before the game tonight, and he couldn't. But my partner earlier, before the game started, Sean Farnham.
I did that from the TV.
Yes.
The TV table.
From right where we're sitting.
And I did it in my suit. And the big part about it is they're doing this thing called hashtag horse with the cats. And they're doing this with Tyler Ulis and Jamal Murray. They asked me if I would do a trick shot, so I figured what better way to do it than here at Rupp, where we actually broadcast the game.
I don't know how you didn't rip your shirt out, but it was a heck of a shot.
Thank you, partner.
Georgia would like to have you out there right now wearing a red jersey, I think. There's a nice feed into Maton.
How about an hour worth of real time without making a field goal?
Yeah. When we went away to commercial and I said it's been about 18 minutes, it was 18 minutes and 17 seconds for Georgia between field goals.
Of just
and then, yes, and then an hour of looking at your watch. Here's Murray again on the drive inside. Reverse layup with a right hand. Pretty move. I can't believe it didn't go. It was halfway down and came back out. And Maton fouled by Briscoe, I think, and that's going to be his third. Don't forget the rematch coming up Saturday, Kansas and Oklahoma, 2:30 Eastern on ESPN. Back on January 4th. It was an epic 3-overtime thriller, 109-106. You'll see the rematch game also streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app.
Remember that last game, Perry Ellis led the way with 27 points, 13 rebounds, but 3 Kansas Jayhawk players eclipsed the 20-point mark.
Labissiere comes back in. He's had a good game tonight. Willis gets a rest on the Kentucky bench, and he was the catalyst, really, along with Murray in the first half by knocking down 2 of his first 3 three-pointers. Then he had the steal and the breakaway slam dunk that we still think should maybe make top 10 plays tonight on SportsCenter. So those 2 guys have done a nice job tonight. And Kentucky can go to its bench about as much as it wants right now, I would think. Marcus Lee, the outlet on the rebound. Oh, nice crossover by Ulis. And he got the basket and won. And you just threw up your hands as if to say, you got to be kidding me. So you like that one, right?
I like that one quite a bit. I mean, this is where Tyler Ulis, you can talk about his size if you want to, but you know what he just is? A really good basketball player. I mean, just a great feel and understands when to attack, when to orchestrate the offense. And he continually puts himself and his team in the best position possible. The last 6 games averaging better than 21 points and 7 assists per game.
And we mentioned earlier that 8 straight games that he's accounted for 30 points. So when you mix in his assists and his scoring, that is quite a tear. And it's one of only 3 guys in the SEC that's averaging 15 points and 5 assists a game. Ben Simmons is another. And the other guy is not playing right now. Candy for Auburn.
You mentioned next 2 nights what this race will look like for the SEC as we move ever closer to Nashville for the SEC tournament tomorrow night. LSU, South Carolina. I'll be on the first plane out tomorrow morning to get to that one and be on the call tomorrow night. In Columbia, big game for Frank Martin's team. They got the big road victory over Texas A&M as Texas A&M lost both games last week.
There you see the top 6 coming into tonight. Kentucky will draw within a game of number 1 LSU. Nice feed over Murray, same corner, same result.
There's such an understanding between these 2 of where they are on the floor. Tyler Ulis' ability to anticipate without tipping his hand. He doesn't telegraph his passes at all.
Maton tough inside, will go to the free throw line to try to earn it.
That's his second and the team's 4th.
Jamal Murray picks up his 2nd foul. That's about all he's done wrong tonight. 6 threes after having 8 against Florida over the weekend.
And this young man at the free throw line, I think he's one of the most improved players in this conference.
No doubt.
You think about Moses Kingsley, Kevin Punter, Deontay Maton's name should be right there with him when you look at the numbers and how they've improved from last season. Better than 10 points per game, shooting almost better than 10% from the field.
3.5 more rebounds. He's on his way to being an all-SEC performer, but he's been really the only bright spot for Georgia tonight.
He's now got a 6th double-double of the season.
Murray on a lean-in, trying to go to the free throw line. Got Gaines to foul him. Third on Kenny Gaines.
Fundamental breakdowns across the board for Georgia at the defensive end of the floor. Leaving your feet, lunging, reaching, as we saw Gaines in the first half. Give up the 3 to Murray. And Coach Fox, the frustration. He's not hiding it.
Murray also a 76% free throw shooter. That's his first trip to the line tonight for his 23 points. He's had over 30 twice this year. It's never happened for a freshman at Kentucky. At 33 against Ohio State, 35 as we mentioned in the Florida game. And that 35, by the way, matches the most of the Calipari era for a player under his guidance. And Terrence Jones was the last one to do that when he also had 35. So Jamal Murray, it looks like the sky's the limit. It's kind of a question mark how long he'll be around in Lexington, but every game he's here, every game he plays, he's capable of putting up numbers that are school or freshman, I should say, records. Might never get around to a Jody Meeks type of night, but I don't know the way he's shooting right now. You never know.
Pretty remarkable. You think about Kentucky has 8 made threes. Georgia has only 7 made field goals.
Man, nice drive.
That's only the 8th made field goal of the game.
Yep, and Mann's got 2 of them. And there's only 3 this half. Mayton having the other. Nice move underneath by Briscoe. That's what he does best. If he's going to score from the floor, it's going to be around the basket and off the window underneath, as he did earlier in the first half.
How many times, though, has he driven baseline? And they have
cut him off.
They have given up baseline time and time again. This has been a dominating performance. Shannon's getting up there.
She must have changed shoes.
Hey, how much money does she get?
Let's give her a raise. Give Spaker a raise. She can buy some new shoes. We'll talk to that young lady when we come back.
I'm a good sport. I decided to make my way up here to meet the young ladies the one young lady who's going to get a raise. This is Amanda and Megan. They're freshmen here at the University of Kentucky. First of all, where do you work and what kind of bet do you have going on? Is this a real thing?
This is a real thing. I work at Fiberworks. It's a real company based in Louisville, Kentucky, and I'm the receptionist there.
How many people text you when they saw you on TV?
About 5 or 6 so far.
Was one of them your boss?
No, not yet, but we'll see. He'll be texting me.
All right, what's his name?
His name is Steve Stooksberry.
There you go, Steve. Sean, Brad, gotta let Steve know he's got to give this girl a raise.
Steve, open up the wallet, bro.
Yeah,
she deserves it, especially where she's sitting.
So does Shannon, though.
Yeah. Shannon can buy new shoes with the raise we're going to give her.
Once we get to Nashville for the SEC tournament, Shannon, we'll get you something.
We'll get her some cowboy boots. Drive inside by Turtle Jackson, draws a foul. So he'll go to the line.
I think this young man is going to be a very good player. His minutes have been limited this year because of the experience, obviously, of Gaines and Mann and J.J. Frazier. But Turtle is a 4-time All-State performer right there from Athens. He's a winner. Great numbers coming out of high school. I think he's just going to get more consistency, and he's a guy that's going to be able to step in and stabilize this offense after Mann and Gaines are gone at the end of the season.
William Turtle Jackson out of Athens, 6'4". He's played off the bench in all 20, now 22 of Georgia's games. Those are his first 2 points of this one. I think both teams can use as much bench as they choose to in the next 10 minutes. Unless Kentucky hits some big slump, and that's not the way they hit a slump. Marcus Lee. That's his second slam of the night. Both his field goals have come in this manner.
Isaiah Briscoe does a nice job bringing the ball off the screen. The defense just loses awareness on the backside, and Marcus Lee able to finish.
Chance for a 3-point play. Bede, those long arms, goes up and gets the rebound. So Gino, Maton, and Mann, the three starters on the floor for Georgia, and they throw another one away. That's 14 turnovers.
Everything is just out of rhythm and out of sync for Georgia tonight. And part of it is Georgia. There's no doubt about it. They're not in a rhythm. But the other part of it is they've been forced out of rhythm because of Kentucky, and in particular, their ability and their want to in pressuring the ball as soon as it crosses the half-court line.
You can't have twice as many turnovers as you have field goals. That is not a good recipe. That's what they have right now. 7 field goals, 14 turnovers. Good feed down low to Briscoe. He brings it back out, and Hawkins on a runner. Maton in traffic gets another rebound. J.J. Frazier has not scored from the floor tonight. Still hasn't. And his counterpart, Tyler Ulis, with an easy rebound on the baseline. And Briscoe fouled en route to the basket.
You mentioned these two guards and their importance for their team, Frazier and Ulis. This is no contest. Not tonight. And you see Ulis' ability to control the game, the efficiency, 6 of 9 shooting from the floor. And when we started the broadcast, I said J.J. Frazier would need to get at least 20 points tonight. At least 20 points tonight.
He's going to be lucky if he gets to 10. Labissiere, the offensive rebound, and Marcus Lee is going to be offensive interference as he tried to throw that one down by batting it like a volleyball, and instead turns it back over to Georgia. Kentucky not only has done everything else right, they had 4 turnovers in the first half. If you want to call that a turnover, you can, and that's the first one they've had in this half. So 5 turnovers for the entire game, 9:45 to go. And still some full court pressure just to put the heat on Georgia, even though it's a 31-point game right now.
When we go back to John Calipari talking to us a week ago at Tennessee, and everything he discussed coming into this game as far as consistency for this group, the need to continue to grow and continue to improve in the process. I mean, dramatic difference tonight.
Yeah, for sure.
They're staying in their stance at the defensive end of the floor longer. I mean, they still have breakdowns every now and then, but they have done a nice job staying in their stance, staying between their man and the basket. Those simple things. It doesn't have to be this amazing breakthrough that can make you a better basketball player. It's the small, fundamental things, in particular at the defensive end of the floor, that can make a huge difference in your team's ability to put away an opponent.
He's going to, I think, enjoy how Labissiere's played tonight, too. He's got a couple of field goals, some nice rebounds. And J.J. Frazier, man, just a lid on the basket for him tonight. And there's Labissiere with a block shot again, and he's had 2 or 3 of those as well. Ulis. Coach Calipari sitting right now, but that hasn't been the case most of the night.
And he's on every detail of the court. You heard it with Shannon going to halftime, and you said, hey, look, I think his team's played better than he probably just gave up there. But his process and his thought process isn't about just winning tonight. It's about winning the next one, the one after that, and building towards becoming the best team this team can become. And I think they have taken a couple of steps forward tonight. They took some steps forward, certainly against Florida, but tonight has been dominating.
Nice feed from Gaines to Edwards, but he can't close the deal.
He tried to turn his back instead of just going through the contact, maybe getting the free throw line, maybe then one opportunity.
Another one of those freshmen that just hasn't quite gotten the drift yet. Shown flashes at times, but hasn't been a lot of help off the bench for Georgia. And this guy started off hot. First field goal of the second half for Derek Willis. It is 3rd of the night. He's got 11. And Kentucky's got 9 threes tonight after having a season-high 12 in a win over Florida. And the lead is a whopping 34. Gaines had his shot blocked. Hawkins the inside as it knocked away. With 7:18 remaining in the ball game. All number 22 Kentucky. They're playing like they're number 2 tonight. 70-37.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Hotels.com, the obvious choice for hotels. And in part by the all-new Lexus RX and RX Hybrid. Never has luxury been this expressive.
Was it ever? 109, 106, and 3 overtimes, 182 field goal attempts, 76 made. We've had just a small margin of that tonight. 5 players played over 50 minutes. Hield had the great night with 46, 8, and 7. Tonight, the only thing we could put out there, I guess, is Jamal Murray's had a really good night.
Tyler Ulis, 8 assists, 0 turnovers, 14 points, 6 of 10 shooting. You know, it's amazing. You look at the National Player of the Year, Wooden Award. Buddy Hield, in my opinion, has locked this thing up.
I think he won it last night if he hadn't had it already. But I agree with you.
His ability down the stretch of that game against Texas. You mentioned the shot that he made, but he had 12 of his 27 points in the final 3 minutes and 11 seconds in that game.
Another Georgia turnover. And Murray, that one's way off. There hasn't been many tonight that have been off. Kenny Gaines off the window. And Murray with the rebound.
Yeah, that was a good shot. And you step right in, you elevate straight up. That's a shot that Kenny Gaines has made more often than not over the course of his career. But it has been that night for Georgia.
With their schedule, what they had coming up, they had hoped to pull off something that nobody else has been able to do in 2 years here in this building. Get an upset. But they're going to have to play a lot better now with the remaining schedule they have, which looks like it would favor them a little bit, but they can't play like this or it's not going to happen. And the same with Auburn, even though they beat Auburn at home last week. It's got to get a lot better than this.
You mentioned their schedule upcoming at Mississippi State on Saturday. You and I will see them at home against Florida next Tuesday before they go back out on the road against Vandy and Auburn. So you got 3 out of your next 4 games are on the road.
And the road's been tough on everybody in this conference for the most part. Mayton's going to go back to the free throw line. There's what we're talking about.
I'll tell you, look at that at Vandy, at South Carolina. Frank Martin's team playing great basketball. Alabama fighting. Avery Johnson's done a nice job with that group. Winning on the road has been somewhat of a challenge for every team in every conference this year. That's why we see the continual turnover. And Joe Lunardi, we talk about Shannon Spake earning her money. Joe Lunardi's going to earn his if he can get that bracket even close to what it might end up being, because everybody's just beating everybody.
He can't wear shoes like Shannon can, though.
No.
I'll take Shannon in high heels any day over Joe. Ulis still out there running the show for Kentucky. What are you laughing about? Get back in the game.
Daniel Bryan's out of the game, by the way. He retired and was on Sports Center earlier tonight.
Coach had him on at 9 o'clock.
There you go.
Saw that. Speaking of Sports Center, after our game wraps up, keep it locked in for Sports Center at night. The 2 Johns will be along. Complete coverage of the day in sports. You'll see more of Cam Newton than you really care to see, probably. Probably less of this game than you'd like to see. Sports Center at night after our game right here on ESPN and streaming live on Watch ESPN on the ESPN app.
And if you can't stay up for that, you wake up in the morning, you see Sports Center AM. Just debuted on Monday.
Saw that this morning. Brand new set, right?
Brand new set.
You tell me all that cool stuff. I actually got up and watched, but I didn't. You know, I should have said I noticed the set was really nice.
Kevin J, Jamie, and Serena all taking you through the morning.
Hannah comes in there and does a thing.
Hannah comes in right afterwards. She had a great interview with Magic Johnson.
I did see that today. Down to 5 minutes and change. A lopsided Kentucky rout. They're going to win their 18th game of the year. Mayton on the outside. Charles Mann has it stolen away by Willis. Willis has done a little bit of everything tonight. And good defense. Hit the outside shots. The steal and the transition dunk earlier in the first half. Man, Kentucky fans love it. Not too many have left. It's cold outside, folks, and there's 23,000 people in here. And this game is way over. And they're all still here. And they'll probably stay for John Calipari's radio show afterwards.
Jamal Murray's done a lot of things right tonight. In fact, he hasn't done anything wrong except for sitting in Coach Cal's seat. He played well, but probably not well enough to take that chair.
No, not yet. You're a freshman. If he could get him to stick around, he might give him that chair.
Oh, my goodness.
Mayton back to the free throw line. He's been the majority of the offense for Georgia all night.
What'd you make of Cam Newton not going for that ball in that moment? I mean, it's a tough situation. You've seen a lot of football games, partner.
Well, I've seen quarterbacks get hurt doing the same thing, but at that stage in the game, you got to give it up for the team and hope you can recover the fumble at least. And then if Derek Johnson's got to come back, Derek Anderson has come in and play quarterback for the last 4 minutes, so be it.
I would have dove on it.
I know
It'd be like the same thing if someone was coming over the broadcast table. I would stand in front of you and take that.
I would get out of the way and let them level you. That's just experience.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'll remember that if that ever happens.
Yeah, I know. I'll try to remember to duck.
Kentucky has been so perfect in their execution tonight. Just running the system.
4 on the shot clock. Ulis crossover dribble over Kessler. Almost got it to go. And Willis trying to save it. Did. Nice hustle on number 35 again. If you're thinking, has Tyler Ulis been out of this game at all as he goes to the bench? That's the way he plays. He leads the SEC at 36.5 minutes a game. And he just hit the 36-minute mark. He might have been out for about 20 seconds earlier before a timeout, but his night's probably over now. Hawkins will take the outside jumper and got it for 3. Everybody getting in the act.
Hawkins had a couple big threes in that rivalry game against Louisville. He's been battled through some injuries, starting to break through and get his conditioning back and his feel back for the game. Boy, J.J. Frazier.
Tough night. No field goals. Guy that was averaging 16.3 a game, which was in the top 10 in the conference.
I think back on some of the big games lately that J.J. Frazier's had 21 points, 11 assists against Baylor. That double-double there. At 26 against Arkansas and LSU. And Derek Willis, meanwhile, is making all the hustle plays.
Yeah. Just went right into Tony Barbie, one of the assistant coaches, with his head into his knee just to save that one. So he saved 2 basketballs on this trip down court. Mayton underneath. Again, rejected out of there, and Willis, the bounce pass to Hawkins. And Hawkins goes down hard. Frazier will help him up, but pick up his 4th foul in the meantime. 2:36 remaining in a lopsided, what will be, Kentucky win. Look at tonight's play of the game, driven by Continental Tire.
Perfect play that sums up the entire night. And the defense turning into offense. Derek Willis plays the passing lane perfectly. And then explodes to the rim out in transition, where Kentucky has dominated. 15 turnovers. They've scored 15 points off those turnovers. And their domination at both ends of the floor. Georgia shooting just 19%.
I like how you whispered that.
I didn't want a lot of people to know.
9 for 47 from the floor, which, if they don't put a few more together in the last 2.5 minutes, will be the worst field goal shooting night of anybody in the country as far as field goals made. 12 is the low that we can find right now. Craig Rothberg and our research guys trying to dig up a dubious statistic, which I'm sure Georgia would not like to live with for the rest of the year, but they may have to. And Labissiere blocks another shot. Hawkins going coast to coast. And he'll go to the free throw line courtesy of Kenny Paulgino with a foul. Northwestern on January 28th had only 12 field goals. And Georgia tonight has 9 with 2:15 to go.
Now, Hawkins just got back being healthy. And his last 2 drives, he has been flying as he's been fouled.
Briscoe goes out.
Craig just told us that Miami of Ohio won tonight with 11 made field goals.
So that is the new low. At least for the time being.
Give us 2 minutes.
Yeah, we still got 2:07 to go. There, Big Day got finally a field goal to go. Guy that hurt his shoulder earlier in the season, had he not missed a lot of time, probably would be a starter at this point and maybe be developed a lot further with his offensive game. But the shoulder injury kind of backed him up.
When I was in practice in October, I was thoroughly impressed with his playmaking, his ability to rebound the basketball, create opportunities just by being active with his athleticism and reach underneath, and that shoulder injury really derailed him.
Labissiere with a foul after hitting the jump shot on the other end. Here's what Kentucky's got remaining. You're going to be at South Carolina.
Well, that matchup on Saturday at South Carolina is going to be a great game. Carol Lawson actually be on the call on that one. Tennessee, then at Texas A&M. Those next 2 road trips are really going to show you a lot about who this Kentucky team is. When you look at those 2 games in particular, I think Texas A&M is going to be interesting to see how they respond after losing both games last week.
Right. And you know that Kentucky will be laying in their lair for Tennessee after last week. What happened in Knoxville. Hawkins getting healthier by the minute.
They didn't foul him that time, and he got the finish.
All the Georgia starters obviously on the bench. Jackson got a 3.
3-point basket by Jackson.
It's only his 6th 3-pointer of the year. 5 points for Turtle. And the final 45 seconds from Rupp.
And that's 11 made field goals.
Good point. Almost quit keeping track for you. Number 12 might be coming unless Kentucky clamps down defensively. Whistle and a foul. Labissiere.
The foul is on Labissiere. That's his 5th and the team's number.
And Scal Labissiere battling underneath, and that was pretty easy one to call.
Leaves with 6 points and 7 rebounds. So pretty good night for him. That 7 rebounds matches a career high, as a matter of fact.
As you talked about, though, it's about his energy level tonight was good. His focus was better.
Yeah.
His positioning on the floor was a little bit better.
I don't think there's going to be a shot attempted, so Georgia's going to lead with 11 field goals, right?
Yep. You know, we talked about the Florida foul, and we talked about Coach Calipari saying sometimes you got to motivate yourself, even when you don't have your best effort. They motivated themselves just fine tonight. Now the big question is be sustaining this focus as it continues to move, in particular to that game on Saturday. Oh, they got to inbound the ball.
Yeah, Mark's going, John, let him inbound without me looking. I can't look anymore. 82-48. All Kentucky. They go to 18-6, 8-3 in conference play. Georgia falls to 13-9 and 6-5 in SEC play. That's going to do it for us. For Sean Farnham, Shannon Spake, who did just wonderful work tonight. Brad Nussler from Lexington saying so long. SportsCenter is next.